The truth of the matter is that there will be a legal challenge and it will succeed. But
why do you say it will succeed?
Oh, because the constitutional provisions are very clear as to, even statistically. I mean, this is like what happened in Plateau State. We have a dialogue state case, which the court have decided is similar to that. You cannot have a specified numerical number and you don't meet that number, and you'll be, when the Constitution prescribes that power be exercised, as the Supreme Court explained in the case of Inakojo and Adeleke. And don't forget that before Inakojo and Adeleke, we had always thought that matters that happens in politics is solely within the domain of political parties. And that's the case of Balarabe Musa that existed under the 1979 Constitution. But when the Supreme Court was interpreting the provisions relating to exercise of powers, he said you can only exercise powers that the Constitution has given to you when you follow the due process that are specified by the Constitution. If you don't follow the due process that are specified by the Constitution, you cannot be deemed to have exercised that power. And that's what happened in the case of Taraba. So basically, if you extrapolate that, definitely if there is no constitutional compliance with constitutional provisions, then the action exercised ab initio is null and void.
Now, looking forward, though, I mean, one is wondering what exactly is going to be transpiring in the National Assembly. Is this an indicator of things to come? Right now, I know that the President of the Senate, President David Mark, who is also the chairman of the National Assembly, shut down the National Assembly till Tuesday. I think the senators are supposed to reconvene today. But the House adjourned till December the 3rd. How do you think the things will eventually play out, and what do you see as the way forward for the National Assembly, especially in this new divide it was same with the executive?
Well, the divide with the executive is not something strange. In political and constitutional, studies, you'll find out that at times like this, you can have what you call divided and even, confronting government. There can be division even in the National Assembly between the Senate and the House of Rep. There can be, division between the legislature and the executive. The bottom line is that when you are talking about Nigerian politicians, your guess is as good as mine what they will do next. You will remember that immediately after that debacle, we started having impeachment moves. And I was listening to, radio commentary on that impeachment move, is it that the president suddenly has done certain things that are so unworthy of impeachment, or that he has impeachable, actions that that it's self-serving, that the day we have this, that is when the House of Rep now decides that the president has done enough to be impeached. All of it within the Nigerian political milieu is just political, action. The bottom line is election 2015.
Are you scared for our democracy?
It is something that when you look at, you should be scared. You should be scared in the sense that we have this set of people who have the opportunity of making our nation great, and all they can think about is self-interest all the time. And it's something that pervades every aspect of our political, domain, from the executive to the legislature, and even sometimes to the judiciary. So self-interest over national interest has always been the bane of the development of Nigeria. And we are still seeing it. And we are seeing it in very crass manner that makes you to feel that, is there really, future for democratic practice in Nigeria?
That's a big question, because going by look at the three issues we just touched on in so short a time: the National Assembly, Taraba issue. Well, that's a good one, because finally the judiciary stepped in. That's why we're saying, the judiciary can do a whole lot more for the people. But you said, until we get to approach there.
Well, I want to make an observation. I hope a personal view that the judiciary can do a lot when we separate, adjudication on political contestations from adjudication, from legal contestation. In South Africa, for instance, that has been done. There is a separation in the realm of constitutional political contestation to the constitutional courts, and legal judicial contestation to the Supreme Court. In Nigeria, we need to have a special court that can move fast and give prompt. You cannot expect, how many judges do we have in the Supreme Court? How many judges do we have in the Court of Appeal? And even in the High Court, to deal with all the issues and also deal with legal litigations of interest relating to land, so basically, our judiciary appears to be swamped. And it's not surprising that the outgone CJ of the Federation, Justice Alama Mukhtar, referred to the need. You know, she made a call that we need to have, you know, capacity build-up in terms of even manpower. And I believe even if you increase the number, the issues will still be there. We need to try new things. And we may want to follow the example of having constitutional courts. When it comes to constitutional, you know, issues, you take it to constitutional courts. And therefore, it removes our judiciary of the state. Election petitions should not be things to be decided only by judges. Because a lot of judges can't, their career don't survive election petition, you know, assignments. So let's be realistic and face it. And more importantly, I need to say this. We should not see the judiciary as the be-all and end-all to the political problems that we have. We must put the blame where the blame should be. The executive in Nigeria is always the problem. Always the problem, both at the state and the federal level. They control resources. And if you talk about, you know, the political heating up, it's always the activities of the self-interest of the executive. All this heating up, why shouldn't PDP allow other people to take, you know, nomination forms for presidency, for Senate, for governorship? That is the crux of the matter. The issues we are seeing in the National Assembly is because of the helplessness of those in that place, that we are not being allowed to contest for these offices. And then governors have served 8 terms, 8 years in office, and then they have automatic ticket to become senators. The president has automatic ticket to run. We saw the drama when Balewa wanted to take a nomination form for PDP, and they said forms are not even for sales until the man was persuaded to drop the ambition. These are things that do not augur well. You know, let's go into proper doing of things. Don't let us Nigerianize everything. It's very frustrating for you to develop constitutional concept like the constitutional reforms that we are having. You now have to put in almost everything to Nigerianize it. Because whatever the language of the Constitution, somebody is going to sit in his office, either as the governor or as the president, to subvert it. And it is the subversion of the constitutional, you know, framework that is constituting a threat not only to the Constitution, but also to the political practice and the democracy in Nigeria as we know it.
Well, I think, well, people like you should come more often and speak to the people, because some of these people actually went through your classes, and well, it's amazing that you got to see them do something quite contrary to what teachings they got. We'd like to thank you so very much, Professor Oyewo, for finding time to join us this morning. Well, Sunrise Daily will take a moment, and we'll return shortly. Join us again.